Hey everybody, it's Bruce here, traveling with Bruce. How you doing today? Today's video is basically where are the four largest cruise ships in the world right now. Today's date, July the 12th, 2020, in this pandemic. Where are the biggest cruise ships? They are all operated, the top four, by Royal Caribbean Group. By the way, Royal Caribbean changed their name to Royal Caribbean Group. Let's get into it. Thank you for following my videos. Please subscribe to Traveling with Bruce. Give my videos thumbs ups if you like them. I love the fact that a bunch of you have joined me on Facebook and also are following me on Instagram. Thank you very much for that. Also, love your comments, by the way. One thing, too, just down below in the description, you'll see a link to the Redbubble store that will take you to the Traveling with Bruce merch that we have, including COVID masks, backpacks, coffee cups. Thank you for all your support. Any item purchased there means a royalty to me. Thank you. All right. The Symphony of the Seas, the world's largest cruise ship, was spotted this week just off the coast and off the shore of Barbados. This ship has joined the Oasis of the Seas, and which, by the way, Harmony of the Seas, I should say, which is the number 2 largest ship in the world. The two of them have been offloading crew members here. Now, there's been some transfers from ship to ship going on. There have also been instances where, in this case here, the Harmony of the Seas, they're coming into the port and they're arranging transportation right from the port to the airport, where charter flights are taking crew members home. So the world's largest cruise ships are still working to repatriate crew members. When these ships are at their busiest, they will each have 2,200 crew members on board each ship. Right now, as the numbers are being depleted, I would not be surprised by the time Royal Caribbean Group gets their way. These vessels will have 60 to 80 crew members total on board the entire vessel. So you can imagine how quiet on board things are. A vessel that can handle 6,500 passengers, 2,200 crew members, the amount of food you have to load up on this thing and how much water you have to generate and the air conditioning systems you have to keep going. It's just staggering. 220,000 gross tons, 1,180 feet long. Unbelievable. Some of these photos, I'm doing the best I can to show you just how big these vessels are by trying to find a human being. It's like trying to find an ant. It's very, very difficult. So it's somewhat misleading sometimes to look at these images to get a sense of just how huge these cruise ships are. But the Harmony of the Seas and the Symphony of the Seas are now in Barbados. They are, like I say, offloading crew. They're not going to go very far. The likelihood is they will stay in the Caribbean, the Eastern Caribbean. They might work their way up to CocoCay. They might work their way back to Miami, but they're going to stay in the Caribbean area until they're given the green light to start sailing again with paying passengers. Where and when that is still up in the air, although Royal Caribbean wants to insist that they'll be sailing by the end of the year out of Miami and Fort Lauderdale and Port Canaveral with all of their Oasis class ships. We'll wait and see for that. Right now, with Florida's virus cases absolutely exploding, I just can't see how cruising is going to start anytime soon. Here's another image here that I have for you from a Cruise Mapper. These all of these little triangular-looking things are cruise ships. The ones in pink are Carnival vessels. Here in green and in purple, those are all Royal Caribbean ships right near CocoCay, Stirrup Cay. The Equinox, Mariner of the Seas, the Oasis of the Seas, you can see, is right here. The Oasis of the Seas was refurbished just last year, $165 million, and the ship is, just like it's brand new and waiting to, get back into business. They added the twin slides at the back of the ship. They added all kinds of water parks on the top decks. The ship is now fully decked out like the Symphony of the Seas and the Harmony of the Seas. So this one here is right up the same level of amenities as the newest two ships. So fantastic. But this one here, this vessel will hang out again in the Bahamas area near CocoCay. She'll come into Miami maybe once a month for a day or so, drop off waste and pick up provisions, and then move back out to sea. And again, the so-called crew count that will be on board this ship will be very light. I don't even know if 100 crew are on board the Oasis of the Seas right now. So this imagery here that you're looking at, from what we call the good old days, like 6 months ago, where passengers are enjoying themselves on board the pools and the loungers and the slides, and this is just not happening right now. The cruise line is trying to preserve cash. Despite all of these cutbacks, Royal Caribbean Group is still burning about $9 to $10 million every day, just to not be in business. Here's a shot from Cadiz, Spain. At the very top there are the dry docks where cruise ships and other ships go for retrofitting, and then down below you see a couple of cruise ships down there. That is where you and I go if we come into Cadiz, Spain for a visit for the day, and then we walk the ancient streets there, which are so narrow. They look like little tiny lines, and that's by design. The buildings there are anywhere from 3 to 6 stories high, but the streets between them are super thin because they're in the shade. Even at the height of the day, those streets are basically in the shade. Gorgeous place to go. Anyway, I show this picture because the Allure of the Seas was just here a few months ago. Right now, she is just south of the UK. You'll notice that green triangle there. That is the Allure of the Seas. And she's hanging out right now between Southampton and the English Channel, also awaiting her restart. Rumors are that the ship was supposed to sail out of Barcelona for the summertime, but we just heard in the last couple of weeks that Spain has effectively shut down cruising for an undetermined amount of time. There is no startup date for Spain whatsoever, so the Allure of the Seas can't really go to Spain and sail out of there. And so now the wondering is, well, will she use Southampton as a home port if the Brits allow sailing? The problem is that this past week, the Foreign Office has said no to sailings of any kind for anyone from the United Kingdom. And so cruise ships are just up against it. There is nowhere they can sail with paying passengers. There's nowhere they can go, even if they have paying passengers, and this shutdown just continues indefinitely. We know the CDC has a July 24th no sail date. We know that the Cruise Lines International Association, CLIA, or CLIA, some people call it, they have a date set for September the 15th. And those of you who follow me regularly, you know that I have been talking about the likelihood that there won't be any sailings until at least 2021. And in the worst case scenario, there won't be any sailings until 2022. Believe it or not, it could be until 2022. With Florida having 15,000 new cases of the virus yesterday, 10,000 the day before that, and 7,000 the week before that, we are talking out of control numbers out of Florida, and this is where so many of these cruise ships are home ported. At least virtually half of all cruising in the world starts and ends with a Florida port. And so half the business is in effect shut out of any hope of restarting. No airlines from international countries will be allowed into Florida airports if this continues. And the experts are calling for this virus to double again as far as infection rates. And so Florida could be into the 20, 30,000 infections a day range within weeks if this continues unabated. And most people thought this was impossible, but it looks like it is. And this is going to keep our friends, these massive ships that we would love to be on, out of reach for all of us for quite some time. Sorry to be such a downer, but that is the story. Now you know where the biggest 4 cruise ships are right now. They're waiting to get back into business, and we are waiting for the chance to get on them. Thank you for joining me today. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for the thumbs ups and all your support. Visit my Redbubble store. The link is down below. And we'll talk to you next time, everybody. Bye for now.